You got to watch Justice Haynes at all?
Of course. Yeah. From Alabama, I've been familiar with him. So obviously a change of scenery is doing really well for him. He's balling right now. So yeah, the blend of speed and the power they hit the jackpot getting him out of the portal for sure. Obviously, all of Crimson Tide Nation, we miss him, but we're happy to see him being successful for sure.
How sustainable is it, do you think, that he's been busting out these big home runs? How sustainable do you think that might be?
I mean, that's the identity, for Michigan, is being able to control the trenches, dominate at the line, both lines of scrimmage, offensive line, defensive line. So that's their identity. And I think when you have Bryce Underwood, his ability to run as well, that will open up some, lanes for the runners, because you have to account for him and his ability to run the ball as well. So that takes some eyes off of the runner, that opens up some run lanes for the runner. I think it's sustainable. Obviously, 130 yards a game, I think that's top, and if you can consistently do that, you'll be up for the Heisman, especially if the team keeps winning. But, he has the ability, but just got to keep, at the line of scrimmage, win the line of scrimmage.
How specifically do you see, because he's able to get these big runs, when Bryce starts to run too? Like, what does that open up, especially for him?
Yeah, it's direct correlation. When you have a quarterback who can run and hurt you in the run game, like I said, it has another set of eyes on the quarterback. When the quarterback carries out his fake, it might grab one or two defenders, and essentially that, has eyes off of the runner and opens up lanes for the runner. And so that's why you see, you could go to Lamar Jackson, any of these running quarterbacks, their runner backs usually are pretty successful and efficient because the impact that a running quarterback has on the defense. So there's a direct correlation to running back success and obviously having a quarterback who can hurt you with his legs as well.
And Michigan's been trying to emphasize the outside zone a little bit more recently. What are some of the pros and cons you see of it and some of the challenges you see of it?
I think outside zone is a great play, especially when you have a line that knows how to handle the first level and get up to the second level. It gives the back a lot of options. If they reach the defensive end, you got the outside run. If they play it true and they're overflowing, a back like Justice, press the hole, get vertical. And if they overplay, then you have the cutback. So it gives the runner a few options, especially a runner with good vision and good feet. So the outside zone mirrors well, especially with a runner like Justice Haynes.
Were you familiar at all with Martindale when you were in the
Excuse me?
Were you familiar with Wink at all?
Wink, yeah. Wink was my D coordinator at when I played with the Ravens. So good dude of mine. I was actually in a facility doing an interview with Justice Haynes yesterday, and I was like, I got to see Wink, you know what I mean? So I had to ask somebody to go get him for me, and we caught up for a few minutes. So big fan of Wink, and obviously, he's done a great job with the defense here. So just a great coach. Great coach in the NFL, and he's done a good job here for Michigan. He's just a great D coordinator, great coach, and definitely a player's coach. So, big fan of Wink.
How does he relate to the players? Obviously, it's different in college, but even for an offensive guy that you wanted to go see him, I mean, what kind of relationship?
Well, some of my biggest fans have been my defensive coordinators over the years, just because we keep them off the field. They get to just be like, yeah, Mark, keep going. The mood will change. Hold on to the football. I think, sometimes the best defense is a good run game. And so I've been fortunate enough to be close with a lot of my defensive coordinators over the years just because they admired my ability and what I was able to bring to a team, what I was able to help them do. And so, yeah, he was just always a supporter of mine when I was in Baltimore, always an advocate of mine, always cheering me on, rooting me on, and encouraging me. So when you have people like that, especially when it's on the other side of the ball, we don't see each other all the time. I'm not always in the defensive meeting room. Just being able to appreciate and have mutual respect for what it takes to get the job done. So I had to, say what's up to him, show him love, because he always showed love to me.
In today's day and age, what do you think it takes for a running back to win the Heisman or kind of compete for it?
I mean, you have to be huge. I mean, they say it's a quarterback award. Mostly quarterbacks are always in the highest odds to win it. But you have to have games like that, especially in big games, big moments. You have to have a good team that's going to continue to win. If you're on like a 3 or 4 loss team and you have good numbers, you probably won't be in contention. So you have to have a good football team that's probably 1 loss, maybe 2 losses, really in contention for a playoff spot and a national championship spot. And then obviously the stats to back it up. You're going for 130 yards a game. You kind of have to have close to 2,000 yards, have to have close to 25 touchdowns, and obviously do it in key matchups. Like Justice will have huge matchups. I think they'll have You have Penn State this year? No Penn State, but
USC, Ohio State.
yeah. So we'll have, obviously Ohio State. That's a huge matchup. You have a big game at that game, and obviously a Big Ten championship game. That'll put you right in the mix. But you got to have big numbers. You got to be on a good football team that is in contention for playoffs and national title contenders.
What kind of challenge is the Wisconsin front going to present the Michigan run game?
Well, that's what they do well, is stopping the run. So I don't think they've seen kind of a back like, Justice yet, or a team as physical as Michigan yet. But they're well coached on the defensive side of the ball. They do. If there's one thing they've done well, is stopping the run and slowing the run down. So that'll present a challenge, and that's what they do well, man. They do what Wisconsin is good at, is stopping the run and slowing that run down. But they have a different challenge with this outfit in Michigan. Great at the line of scrimmage. The identity is at the line of scrimmage. Then you have a back who is patient, has a blend of speed and power and vision. So it's going to be a big challenge for them.
I know Jam Miller was hurt, but how surprising is it that Justice has kind of raised his level compared to the Alabama backs? Did you see that coming? Or?
Well, it was kind of a split backfield, kind of like a committee approach last year. Jam Miller's a really, really good back. Runs with a lot of power inside, pick up pass protection, and still has good enough hands to come out the backfield. So you had two backs who kind of, split the backfield. And sometimes the challenge of that is getting into a rhythm, getting into a flow. And you see now, that he's the RB1. You see him getting into that rhythm. You see him getting into that flow. And, obviously everyone in Alabama hated to see him go. But at the same time, sometimes change of scenery is good. You always have to do what's best for yourself. And obviously that change of scenery is paying off for him. He's with a team that believes in him. He's with a system that fits his style. And he's getting those touches to be able to allow himself to get into a rhythm, get into a flow of the game, see how the defense is playing you, get that lather, get that sweat so you can use your vision, your speed, and his power as well. So he's a complete back, and he kind of landed in the right spot, man. The change of scenery sometimes does well for people, and it's doing really well for him.
What have you seen from Jordan Marshall?
Excuse me?
What have you seen from Jordan Marshall?
Man, who's that? That's the other back?
That's the other back.
Yeah. I mean, Michigan always has a stable, right? You've seen it over the past few years. They've had a number of backs that can come in and contribute. And especially in a Big Ten season and a long season, the ability to have another back who is efficient, who is has power, who can get in there and contribute as well, that's nothing but an asset to the team. Especially, it's a long season. You have 12, you have 12 games, and you have aspirations to go to the playoff. That's another 3-4 games. You're going to have multiple people on the backfield so you can keep both guys fresh, and that's how you beat a defense up, is having two backs that are capable and efficient and can be productive, and that's what Michigan has with Haynes and Marshall as well.
You had the big game against Alabama, but hasn't really carried that forward to this year. What are the challenges when you have one game where you're like, okay, I can do it, and you move forward and you're behind someone else?
Well, I think, like I said, obviously you see the ability there. He's done it. He's done it before. But when you have the challenge of sharing a backfield like I've had, getting into a rhythm, getting into a flow, that can be challenging. Being spot work coming in at certain plays, coming in on certain packages, coming in, not being in the lather, not getting the flow for the game, that can be challenging. But at the same time, you have to be able to take advantage of your opportunities. You have to be ready to take advantage of your opportunities when they present themselves and capitalize on those opportunities. So I think that's a challenge for him, and we just got to keep working.
All right, thanks.